Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica, the Caribbean, as well as what's happening with Hurricane Beryl. It is 4:36 a.m. Monday, July 1, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video, and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these storm systems, so that we can keep everyone safe this hurricane season. Share this video with your friends, your coworkers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather's been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us start this video out by looking at the Atlantic hurricane and tropical activity based on data from 1944 to 2020. And we can see that as usual, as we head into the month of July, considering that this is July 1st now, we usually see a ramp up in the activity right here, and then it even gets more robust as we head into August, September, October right there. And I guess you could say that we're definitely ahead of schedule, considering what we know of that's taking place right now. And the typical tracks and origins for the month of July usually start out here in the Eastern Caribbean, and then they move westward, curving northward into the Gulf of Mexico, right there off the southwestern Atlantic near the Bahamas as well. So I guess you could say that we're on track regarding this. And as it relates to the first 10 days of July, all of these red dots are representing where we've seen storms form during that time period. And we see a lot of them across portions of the Gulf of Mexico, the Western Caribbean, the Eastern Pacific, and even that area where we had, or where we're having Hurricane Beryl right now, right there off to the east of the Windward Islands. If we take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook, we now have a new storm system on our hands. This is Tropical Storm Chris, and it's definitely battering Mexico right now, definitely formed on the doorstep of that country last night. We still have Hurricane Beryl right here, bearing down on the Windward Islands as we speak. And we can see that we still have that area to the east of Beryl that has a 70% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days as it pushes towards the west in the heels of Beryl. So we see that we have Beryl, we have Chris, we've had Alberto. Next name on the list will be Debbie. So if this system takes advantage of the very warm waters, definitely going to be developing. We see the warm waters here, definitely record breaking, and we've been talking about this all spring into summer. All of these yellows, oranges, reds across the main development region in general, where we know these systems usually develop. It's just ridiculous. And the waters are definitely warm at the surface, and not only at the surface but at a great depth. This is showing the ocean heat content that just came out on June 30, that was yesterday, and we see all of the reds, especially near Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, south of Cuba. Even that spot that Beryl is located is definitely running above normal. So even if the hurricanes suck up all of the very warm waters on the surface or the top of the ocean, it still has a lot to work with below the surface, because we can see how warm it is the deeper we go. If we focus our attention on Chris for a second, it's stated here that it is packing winds of 40 miles per hour. It is moving west at 12 miles per hour. So it's definitely going like this. And you see that they have a blue right there on the coast of Mexico that represents a tropical storm warning. So it definitely just developed overnight. That's crazy, but they've been experiencing the bad weather associated with Invest 94L. 94L is basically that system that was affecting Jamaica a couple of days ago with some bad weather. If you remember the very strong winds, that gust front that we had across Kingston, so it is understandable. If we take a look at the visible satellite images, as the sun is starting to come up, we can actually map out everything Tropical Storm Chris right here making landfall on Mexico. Hurricane Beryl bearing down on the Eastern Caribbean. And the other system, that's 96L, to the east of Beryl as we're starting to get in on the sun. If we take a closer look at Beryl, we can definitely see that it has that classic buzzsaw look. Look at it. Looks exactly like a buzzsaw with all of those upper level cirrus clouds fanning out, that central dense overcast right there around its eye. Even although the eye is starting to deteriorate, when these things happen, it will just definitely re-strengthen and get an eye again later on. So we can definitely see that it is coming in right now to affect sections of Tobago right here, coming into Grenada, the Grenadine Islands. It is passing more so towards the south of Barbados as we speak. And if we take a look at the latest Doppler radar images, we know Doppler radar images show the actual rainfall as opposed to satellite images that show cloud cover, and we can have cloud cover around here and not necessarily rainfall. And we definitely see that the brunt of the weather, thank goodness, is passing to the south of Barbados. Definitely a very blessed country. I'm sure that they're grateful, but they're getting in on some light squalls as we speak, but most of it seems to be pushing more westward to affect sections of Tobago. We can see it heading definitely in the direction of Grenada, the Grenadine Islands. Sections of St. Vincent definitely going to be getting in on some bad weather. Even sections of Trinidad already getting in on that rainfall and strong winds. And as it relates to where it is expected to go, so we're going to be looking at the 0-0 on both the Euro and the GFS malls that came out last night. We know the drill. We're going to be looking at the timestamp right here, and we see Beryl right here, and we're just going to be going on to the next 72 84 hours, and we see that it should pass through the island, and then by about Wednesday, so this is 12Z on Wednesday, which is actually 7 a.m. We see it right there to the southeast of Jamaica. This is on the 12Z, well, the 0Z Euro run. Then we see that by this is 21Z on Wednesday, which is actually 4 p.m. on Wednesday. It should be to the south of the island, passing to the west as we end the 84 hours. What does the GFS show? Passing through the islands, then by 12Z on Wednesday, which is actually 7 a.m. on Wednesday, to the southeast of Jamaica, just like the Euro. And then we see exactly what unfolds, definitely passing to the south of the island right there. And then by the 84 hours timestamp, it should be to the west of the island. A bit different on both the Euro and the GFS malls, but we get the consensus. Definitely going to be scraping Jamaica's south coast because we have that consensus. And even if we take a look at the 2 a.m. forecast from the Hurricane Center versus what just came out at the 5 a.m. update, we see a slight change regarding where it's expected. The 2 a.m. had it a bit closer to Jamaica, and the 5 a.m., which is actually 4 a.m. Jamaica time, has it a bit further. But we still see that Jamaica is within the cone of uncertainty. Even although we had it more in the 2 a.m. update, we can still get the system passing right here, or it could pass even further south. We have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt to see exactly what's going to be unfolding. So just prepare, just in case. We see that it should be off to the south of the island by 2 p.m. on Wednesday, just like what the models have been predicting. And we definitely have some probability for strong winds still expected, up to 50 to 70% chance. As a matter of fact, these will continue to fluctuate the more we go out in time. So even as Beryl enters the Caribbean, we're still going to be seeing changes to the cone of uncertainty. We're still going to be seeing differences on the Euro and the GFS malls. That's just how weather is. It is very complex. It is always changing, which is why we have to stay updated, especially with a warming climate like what we're having with this climate change crisis. Either way, there's a lot of rainfall expected. We know the reds represent up to 1 inch of rainfall. The darker reds represent up to 2 inches of rainfall. But look at the purples and pinks that represent 3 inches of rainfall to up to 6 or 7 inches of rainfall. One line of that stretching from the Windward Islands into portions of Jamaica. That's on the Euro, showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 12Z on July 4th. That's 12Z on Thursday. 7 a.m. on Thursday, actually. This is all the rainfall that's expected. That's on the Euro. The GFS has more of that rainfall across the island. So that's a very bad situation. That is life-threatening flash floods that could definitely cause mudslides, landslides, whatever the case may be. So we definitely have to stay updated. We have to stay prepared. And how do we stay prepared? It stays here in case of a hurricane. Stock food, supplies, and medicine. Plan evacuation route. Unplug propane tanks. So all of you who keep your gas tanks outside, we know the hurricane can definitely do a number on that. Protect your home, button down, because especially these glass windows, I don't like glass windows at all. They are easily, damaged by the strong winds. Just look up Hurricane Otis in Acapulco. All those high-rise buildings definitely got blasted by Category 5 Hurricane Otis winds. Keep your family close. Keep a list of important contacts, not to mention the documents. Check your phone battery. Make sure that it's full. Stay on the news. So ensure that you have a battery radio, because we know that the power is definitely going to be out. We know how the Jamaica Public Service is. Plan ahead of time. And ensure that you get a bicycle. Okay, because trees could be down, power lines or light posts could be down. Have a bicycle so that you can get around. And also, yes, fill up on gas too if you have a vehicle, because the lines, I remember after Hurricane Ivan and Dean, were ridiculous. Alright, so that's it regarding the systems. Let's just take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this morning. We can see that we still have that tropical wave right there to the east of Jamaica that's going to be bringing some rainfall, or it has already been bringing rainfall to portions of the island even as we speak. We see Hurricane Beryl right there to the east of the Caribbean still. The other tropical wave that has a high chance of development to the east of Beryl. And if we look back at the satellite images, we can definitely make out the clouds associated with the tropical wave to the south of Haiti and Dominican Republic. Definitely starting to make its way into portions of Jamaica. And that was definitely predicted in yesterday's video. If you remember, well, last night's video, we mentioned that we would have received some rainfall across sections of some eastern parishes in the morning, then some rainfall across sections of some northern and western parishes during the afternoon. Eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, so Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on top, so Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. Well, western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, so St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney. And what ended up happening? As early as 3:30 a.m. this morning, the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted not only on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. I'm sure that you've been seeing a lot of these posts circulating on social media. So we can definitely see right here that we have some rainfall coming into sections of eastern Jamaica, just as predicted. The greens, the yellows that we can see by the key on the right represent some light to moderate to even heavy rainfall. If you can speak Spanish, we know that is exactly what it is representing. And if we reload the latest infrared satellite images of Jamaica, we can definitely see, if the images will load. It's blocking out as we speak. What's going on today, weather nerds? Today. Alright, so here we go. We can definitely see the thunderstorms coming into sections of St. Thomas and Portland. All the sparkling white dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes, as well as the high cold cloud tops that represent those cumulonimbus thunder clouds, the greens, the yellows, oranges, reds. I'm sure they're definitely hearing some thunder across portions of eastern St. Thomas, eastern Portland as we speak. And if we take a look at the latest Doppler radar images of Jamaica, so the time is now 4:50 a.m. so we should see something as of 5:40 if I'm not mistaken. Let's wait for it to load. Alright, so here we go. It's just loaded. So there we have it. The rainfall definitely coming into sections of the east, maybe even affecting sections of St. Mary. We can see it passing to the south of St. Thomas. So who knows, maybe it might make it as far as southern St. Catherine or sections of Clarendon as well. We know all of these push towards the west either way. And we can see some more on the Guantanamo Bay Cuban radar. Right there, all of the greens, the blues, the yellows that represent light, moderate, and heavy rainfall. We know if we didn't have the original Cuban radar, we'd have to be depending on this that only shows Portland, but we can definitely see the activity coming in from the east. And just as predicted, we're on track already with the rainfall for the east. The next portions of the island that should be affected, just as predicted, is northern and western Jamaica during the afternoon. So look out for that. St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, maybe even section of northwestern St. Elizabeth. Regarding the rainfall for today across the rest of the Caribbean, we can see all the colors that represent that rainfall. The greens and yellows are, we know, represent isolated showers. The reds that represent up to 1 inch of rainfall or more. The purples that represent some tremendous rainfall, as expected by Beryl across the Windward Islands. So anywhere from Florida southwards to the Bahamas, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the Leeward and Windward Islands, definitely going to be getting some bad weather there. Sections of French Guiana, Suriname, Guyana, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, sections of Guatemala, Belize, and even the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. Alright, so that's it for now. I'll be back with another video in the evening. Thanks for watching.